NMH at 1 highlights the news making waves ranging from current affairs, community stories, sports, and economic news. Here are the headlines. 2 Americans given 30 and 29 years in prison for the murder of 25-year-old. Namibia to open a consulate in Lubumbashi to facilitate trade in DRC. Erongo Business and Tourism Expo kicks off. I am Glenn Rashipura and this is NMH at 1. In our midday news update, the 2 Americans, Marcus Thomas and Kevin Townsend, who were found guilty of the murder of 25-year-old Andre Heckmeyer on January 7, 2011, were sentenced today to 30 and 29 years in prison, respectively. The 2 men's trial started in November 2014 and was marked by numerous delays caused by themselves. In another update, Namibia will open a consulate in Lubumbashi to facilitate trade in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Executive Director in the Ministry of International Relations, Ambassador Penda Nanda, announced the opening of a consulate general in Lubumbashi will enhance the existing bilateral relations between the DRC and Namibia, which will ease consular matters and create an enabling environment to facilitate cross-border trade and transit cooperation. As such, Namibian investors will be able to take full advantage of the tripartite trade arrangement and the Walvis Bay Ndola Lubumbashi development corridor, he said. Visual News highlights local stories from across Namibia. Right after the break, we get into this. Stay with NMH at 1.
Hello and welcome to today's Sports Rep Show.
I am your host, Jesse Jackson Kauraifa. In replay, Namibia, who had won the toss for the first time on this tour.
Good day everyone, time for international sports news, starting off with tennis news, both on the WTA for women's and
Getting into our visual news, the 15th edition of the Erongo Business and Tourism Expo kicked off on Wednesday at the municipality of Walvis Bay. The theme for this edition is Innovate, Integrate and Industrialize in order to bring international and local traders together to showcase their products and services, strengthening existing value chains. Walvis Bay Mayor Trevino Forbes officiated the event's opening. Let's take a look.
Thank you, Governor. This year's theme for the Expo is Innovate, Integrate and Industrialize. The Erongo Business and Tourism Expo has been one of the main activities on the Walvis Bay calendar for the past years, and it keeps growing from strength to strength, becoming bigger and better each year. As mayor of the economic hub of our beautiful country, I can't help but applaud the resilience of our Walvis Bay business community, as the past years have not been easy for you. Yet you have shown perseverance through severe economic challenges. I wish to extend my appreciation to the organizing committee and the sponsors for this excellent preparations and arrangements in reviving and maintaining the Erongo Business and Tourism Expo. Ladies and gentlemen, 4 of the main reasons why the Council will always celebrate events such as the Business Expo are because these kind of events allow SMEs a platform for exhibiting products and services. It promotes and encourages public dialogue and challenges faced by the business fraternity as well as our communities. It gives an opportunity to promote the valuable assets of our region, such as mining, tourism, fishing, marine and other resources. Ons het mos nou oil en green hydrogen goed ook bygekry. Ons ken nog nie goed nie. It allows sponsors to highlight and promote services offered in Namibia, SADC, and the rest of the world. We look forward to seeing all the tourism-related programs and products here today and during the week. For Walfish Bay, tourism means jobs and business opportunities for our SMEs. If properly managed and coordinated, it can also mean a renewal of our urban and rural areas and the preservation and promotion of natural resources and our cultural heritage. I hope that the situation of our economy through such as the Irongo Business and Tourism Forum Expo, will revive our tourism industry to what it used to be pre-COVID and other events I will not mention here today.
Namibian Sun leads us into the newspaper review segment on the other side of this.
Welcome to What's Cooking, where culinary passion meets expert insights.
Somebody must really want to cook and want to cook good food.
Immerse yourself in the bustling world of professional kitchens as top chefs create mouthwatering dishes. Join us for in-depth interviews as our host explores the experiences and expertise of our guest chefs. Don't miss out. Tune in to What's Cooking on NTV every Friday at 2100 hours and let the culinary adventure begin.
Getting into our newspaper review segment, starting off with the Namibian Sun's front page. Foreigners will no longer be allowed to participate in some identified sectors in Namibia, while those participating in other listed sectors may only do so from a set investment threshold. This will become effective if the new investment bill, which has been on the table since 2006, comes into effect in its current form, especially the clauses dealing with sectors to be reserved for locals, bringing stakeholders up to speed during a Namibia Local Business Association Policy Conference in Windhoek yesterday. Deputy Executive Director in the Ministry of Trade and Industrialization, Michael Hamovindu, shared the details of the bill, which is currently in its final rounds of consultations. Now, Swakopmund residents and holidaymakers will have to miss a visit to the National Marine Aquarium this festive season, as its doors will remain closed due to repairs, possibly until the end of next year. It is unfortunate the aquarium has to be closed during the 2023 to 2024 holiday season. However, the rehabilitation of the aquarium and the safety of our visitors are our priorities at this stage, Fisheries Ministry spokesperson Waripi Kashukwa told Namibia Media Holdings. Now, according to her, the ministry cannot say how long the aquarium will be closed, as most of the damage is to the internal concrete structures. On the Republicans' front page, meat producers are once again sitting with their hands in their hair after the meat factory announced that producer prices will be cut from next month until January 2024 by between $1.50 and $2.50 per kilogram on certain weight classes, especially producers who feed slaughter cattle and therefore supply cattle to Meatco on a monthly basis, also out of season, are the worst affected by this. Moving on to page 3, Tom Alwindo, the Minister of Mines and Energy, used his ministerial powers to overturn the electricity's regulator's decision on the controversial Ongos Valley Development's plan to generate its own power. As details about the case emerge, it appears that the Electricity Regulatory Board initially recommended that the ministry's OVD's application for a distribution and supply license be rejected. This license will allow OVT to generate electricity and sell it onto its end users. This despite the fact that the development is located within municipal boundaries. On the Allgemeine Zeitung's front page, in the court case between the Health Defense League and the Namibian government, the state gave 3 positions that the HDL was unlawfully demanding information about the infamous COVID-19 vaccines. The case was adjourned to next year. The trial in the death of Gerard Mans has been postponed until September 2024. The former captain of the Namibian rugby team had died in a road accident in 2022 involving the accused Japhet Paulus. After the break, we continue with more newspaper review.
Welcome to My.NA Cars, your ultimate destination for everything automotive.
I am your host, Diana Master. Teamwork makes the dream work, right?
Discover the latest models, innovative technologies, and expert insights from our passionate hosts. Learn essential maintenance tips and get exclusive behind-the-scenes access to the automotive industry. Don't miss My.NA Cars on NTV every Thursday at 2100 hours. Tune in and ignite your passion for automobiles.
Continuing with our newspaper review, on the Namibian's front page, senior officials at the government's central medical stores have requested that the procurement threshold be moved up from 25 million Namibian dollars to 500 million Namibian dollars to meet present demands and improve services delivery. Now, Executive Director of Health and Social Services, Ben Nangobe, says there is a need to allow more exemptions on urgent procurement matters. On to the Namibian's page 3, Deputy Minister of Works and Transport Veiko Nekundi said the new proposed bills tabled in Parliament on the issue of immovable properties used by people as primary homes should have no mercy on the banks. He was speaking in the National Assembly yesterday. Patients at the Oshakati Health Center have expressed frustration over poor service delivery by nurses. Yesterday, New Era visited the clinic and observed patients sleeping under the trees as they waited to be assisted. Some who could not fathom the long queues left without getting medical attention. School learners claim they have no choice but to wait for the nurses to attend to them. Thus, they may miss out on lessons and sometimes return to the hostel late at night. Now, in spite of Namibia inheriting inequality from policies of the then apartheid regime, it has since adopted many initiatives that are redressing this anomaly. National Assembly Speaker Professor Peter Kashavivi has said he made these remarks on Tuesday during a general debate on the theme Parliamentary Action for Peace, Justice and Strong Institutions, attended by hundreds of members of the Parliament gathered at the 147th Inter-Parliamentary Union session. On to Market Watch. The Bank of Namibia yesterday kept its repo rate unchanged at 7.75% for the second consecutive time, saying the higher rate in South Africa has not resulted in major capital outflows. The repo rate of the South African Reserve Bank has been 50 basis points higher than that of the bond since June this year. Because the Namibian dollar is pegged 1-to-1 to the South African rand, the bond often follows the monetary policy of the SARB to prevent large capital outflows as investors seek out better returns in the neighboring country. After the break, we get into your economic news. Do stay tuned.
eTicket, your online ticket solution for events and event marketing, bringing you ease of mind and making sure that your event gets out there. For more information, contact events@nmh.com.na.
Getting into our economic news, Agra recorded a 23.1% increase in total turnover, surging from $1.997 million in the 2021 to 2022 financial year to $2.459 million in 2022 to 2023. It attributed the increase to its expansion in fuel distribution and an enhanced market presence, which can be directly linked to fruitful outcomes in its consistent investments in infrastructure. These investments align well with Agra's strategic goal of broadening its national reach alongside innovations like its digital auctions platform, which has opened up brand new international markets for Namibian producers, it said. Now, Agra's increased revenue had a positive impact on the gross profit, marking a 9.6% rise from $433.9 million in 2021 to 2022 to $475.4 million in 2022 to 2023. When compared to the increase in turnover, it is evident that this increase was not attained at the expense of the producer, Agra said. Let's take a look at our economic indicators. The Namibian dollar trades against the British pound at 23, against the euro at 20.10, and $2 gets you 1 Chinese yuan. On the Namibia Stock Exchange, all major stocks remained the same. Overall index went up, closing at 0.02%. On the commodities market, gold, copper, and platinum went up, while Brent crude oil went down, trading at 1.18%, going for $89.34 per barrel. The World Bank will loan South Africa $1 billion to help the country resolve its energy crisis as it battles with its worst ever power cuts. More on these from the African continent follows after the break.
Neopaints has established a 67-year Namibian legacy, creating personalized paint solutions that blend quality and innovation for the Namibian people. We pride ourselves in being a 100% Namibian-owned company, investing in our country and our people by employing and empowering true Namibians. With every brushstroke, Neopaints commits to our quality guarantee and always delivering a coat of excellence. At Neopaints, we always stay true to our country. We are as Namibian as you.
Getting into our news from Africa, the World Bank will loan South Africa $1 billion to help the country resolve its energy crisis as it battled with its worst ever power cuts. They have been power since 2007, but they have escalated in recent years, causing blackouts of up to 16 hours a day, according to the World Bank. The frequent power cuts have severely impacted South Africa's economy, slowing its GDP growth. The loan endorses a significant and strategic response to South Africa's ongoing energy crisis and the country's goal of transitioning to a just and low-carbon economy, the World Bank said in a statement on Wednesday after its board approved the loan. More than 80% of South Africa's electricity is generated by burning coal. As a result, the country is ranked as the world's 14th largest emitter of carbon dioxide. The World Bank said that the loan will allow South Africa to reform the country's state-owned power company, Eskom, which has more than $26 billion of debt. Now, moving on to our next story, Zimbabwe's main opposition leader, Nelson Chamisa, says his party will not participate in what he described as criminal by-elections to fill 15 seats for members who were controversially recalled from parliament. The seats were left vacant after a man who declared himself as the Citizens Coalition for Change Party's interim Secretary General said the MPs were no longer members. Consequently, by-elections have been scheduled for the 9th of December after the parliamentary speaker declared the seats vacant earlier this month. Chamisa dismissed the recalling of the lawmakers, saying Zengeso Chabangu, the self-declared Secretary General of the party, was an imposter. We'll get into your international news shortly. In our international news, India has moved to renew visa services for Canadian citizens, easing a diplomatic row between the two states over the killing of a Sikh activist on Canadian soil. India announced it will begin reissuing visas for entry, business, medical, and conferences on Thursday, reversing a month-long ban. The Indian High Commission, along with India's consulates in Toronto and Vancouver, will continue to deal with emergency services. Canadian Emergency Preparedness Minister Harjit Sajjan welcomed the decision as good news for Canadians. India shut down visa services to Canadians over a month ago after Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau accused Delhi of potential involvement in the killing of 45-year-old Sikh activist Hardeep Singh Nijjar on Canadian soil. Nijjar was shot dead by masked attackers outside a Sikh temple near Vancouver on June 18th. India had long accused Indian-born Nijjar, who supported an independent Sikh state within India, of terror links, charges he denied. We'll get into your local sports news right after this break.
E-Ticket, your online ticket solution for events and event marketing, bringing you ease of mind and making sure that your event gets out there. For more information, contact events@nmh.com.na.
Hello and welcome to today's Sports Rep Show.
I am your host, Jesse Jackson Kauraifa. In replay, Namibia, who had won the toss for the first time on this tour.
Good day everyone, time for international sports news, starting off with tennis news, both on the WTA for women's and
Let's take a look at our local sports news. Lydia Hatzenberg is the first Namibian to graduate with a FIFA Guardian Safeguarding in Sports diploma. Her graduation took place yesterday at the FIFA headquarters in Zurich, Switzerland, with Hatzenberg part of the first class aimed to develop a group of trained safeguarding professionals within football. The program is a series of online and face-to-face courses designed to support the works of FIFA members associations. Now, in our next story, today marks the kickoff of a mesmerizing mosaic of athletic excellence and youthful passion. With its rich 125-year legacy, proudly sponsors the Gravity Cup School Sports Tournament. Now, the three-day event will be held at Affis Park in Pioneers Park and will see a confluence of 39 private and government schools compete in a 6-a-side soccer, netball, 5s hockeys, and 7s rugby for a chance at coveted titles. We'll be back after this short break.
Neo Paints has established a 67-year Namibian legacy, creating personalized paint solutions that blend quality and innovation for the Namibian people. We pride ourselves in being a 100% Namibian-owned company, investing in our country and our people by employing and empowering true Namibians. With every brushstroke, Neo Paints commits to our quality guarantee and always delivering a coat of excellence. At Neo Paints, we always stay true to our country. We are as Namibian as you.
Let's take a look at our international sports news. A number of major European cycling teams have been exploring plans to create a new competitive league in a move that could reshape the sports landscape and allocate more funding for participants, three people familiar with the matter told Reuters. On to our next story. Erling Haaland ended his goal drought with a second-half brace, while Manuel Akanji scored on his return to his homeland as reigning champions Manchester City all but secured their spot in the Champions League knockout stage with a 3-1 win over Swiss side Young Boys on Wednesday. Pep Guardiola's side maintained their 100% winning record in Group G with 3 victories, despite their pre-game concerns about playing on the slick artificial turf at rain-lashed Wangdorf Stadium. In our next story, South Africa will revert to a tried and trusted halfback pairing and gamble on a late surge of forward power in Saturday's Rugby World Cup final in Paris as they seek to overcome New Zealand and win back-to-back titles. Andre Pollard, who kicked South Africa to an empathetic final victory against England in Japan in 2019, replaces Manie Libbok at fly half, while Faf de Klerk comes in at scrum half in place of Kobus Rienaert. We'll be right back with the news highlights after this.
Hello and welcome to today's Sports Rep Show.
I am your host, Jesse Jackson Kauraifa. In replay, Namibia, who had won the toss for the first time on this tour.
Good day everyone, time for international sports news, starting off with tennis news, both on the WTA for women's and
Welcome to What's Cooking, where culinary passion meets expert insights.
Somebody must really want to cook and want to cook good food.
Immerse yourself in the bustling world of professional kitchens as top chefs create mouth-watering dishes. Join us for in-depth interviews as our host explores the experiences and expertise of our guest chefs. Don't miss out. Tune in to What's Cooking on NTV every Friday at 2100 hours and let the culinary adventure begin.
You're still watching NMH at 1. Let's take a look at the news highlights from today's broadcast. The World Bank will loan South Africa $1 billion to help the country resolve its energy crisis as it battles with its worst ever power cuts. India has moved to renew visa services for Canadian citizens, easing a diplomatic row between the two states over the killing of a Sikh activist on Canadian soil. Lydia Hartzenberg became the first Namibian to graduate with a FIFA Guardian Safeguarding and Sports Diploma. Those have been your highlights, and with that, we've come to the end of our broadcast. Thank you for joining us during this lunch hour. From me, Glenora Shipura, until next time.